you just tell us how Mikolai is?
Yeah, we haven't seen him this week. He's obviously had that. Well, he's having an operation tomorrow. Um, Probably have a couple of plates inserted, and he's 4 to 6 weeks from there.
I mean, you never can tell, can you, in terms of when he could be back? Is the potential that he might be out for the season?
No, no. He's like I said, it'd be somewhere that 4 to 6 weeks.
So is it not as, I mean, it's an awful injury, isn't it? But is it not as bad as it could have been?
Oh well, it's still pretty bad. I think he's gonna. They said it's pretty smashed up. He's gonna have to have a couple of plates inserted in there. But once he gets the plates in and it heals, like that 4 to 6 week window, it's not like a soft tissue injury that where he's got to rehab it. He's just got to wait for it to heal, and then he's right to play. Mick's pretty tough, but we certainly won't be, putting him out there any earlier than we need to, or until he's right to play. We won't be putting him at risk.
He is tough, isn't he? I think the adjudication since that game has been of accidental contact to the head. Would you take exception to that, or would you go along with it?
Look, I don't make the rules. All I know is that it's up to the defenders, not to make contact with the opposition's head. So you take what you like from that, mate.
And what's the situation with Tom Holroyd? Because I think he's had surgery, hasn't he?
Yeah, that was from the week before, scaphoid. So he's around the 6 week mark.
How big a loss are those two guys taken together?
Yeah, well, Mick was playing really well for us last week, I thought, you think he's been playing really well for us all year, and he's been priding himself on the starts. Like at the start, he's been taking that personal as a reflection of him as how he starts. So, gives a couple of other guys opportunities this week in Keenan and Cooper to make sure it's a reflection of them. And then Tom was providing that good game minutes, but with good impact off the bench. Tom was also someone that can easily start for you, but we had the luxury of him coming off the bench and being able to play big minutes and only sort of costing us one interchange. So those guys are really good for your interchanges because they can get good minutes out and good stints. But again, like what it does is opens up opportunities for other guys and get some more minutes into Cooper and Sam to get some more minutes and get on field a little bit earlier and give Present an opportunity now.
So you've had some pretty awkward conversations with players this year, telling them that they're not in the team. I'm guessing that to go to a young player and tell him that it's his opportunity this week is probably one of the delights of a head coach's job. Can you just tell us how you told him and what his reaction was, Presley?
Yeah, well, on Monday we trained and weren't sure on a few things, so we trained with the team and just didn't want to probably spook him out too early in the week. So just said there's a possibility that he's in. Just train with the team. We'll see how we go today, and so he would have had a good chance. He probably wouldn't have slept Monday night, thinking about it. But then he came in on Tuesday and we gave him the news, and he was quite excited about it. And we've tried to keep it pretty low key for the minute, but we want him to, sort of told him that he won't likely get on in the first half, but to sit there, relax and enjoy it. And then we'll give him some instructions after half time of when he might take the field. And, over the last couple of weeks, we've named him as 18th and give him the opportunity to warm up and just do all those things. So, just try and take a look, make it a bit more comfortable for him, I suppose, with the warm up and try and take some of those nerves out. And he's more familiar with what we're going to do, and there's no surprises for him.
And is it a joy for you to be able to do that?
Oh, it is really pleasing. It's probably more pleasing for the club, because I haven't had a real lot to do with Prez, and it's probably a good indication for the club where the club's at. But there's been lots of guys that have put way more time and effort into his development than me, so it's more rewarding for a lot of those guys. Like Chev's put a lot of time into him, so it's quite pleasing for Chev that there's the work that he's done with these guys, and I think he'd be like a proud dad, come kick off tomorrow.
I'm sure he will. What can we expect from him when he does get on the pitch?
Well, I go into these sort of games with no expectations because we don't know from him. But what we do know is that he's very physical. He's ready, you know, and he's excited. So he might get a couple of things wrong, but you know, I've talked to him about don't worry about it. Just move on and just keep doing the things that he's really good at, and just asked him, you know, what he's good at, just to make sure he knows, and as a reminder, and just keep focused on those things, and see where it takes him. And he might blow early, but he'll be right. He'll find his way through it. And yeah, it's good when you can put these guys out there around strong players as well, and a team, you know, that's confident in the way they're playing, knows how they want to play. So that will help him.
It's a chance to bounce back on Friday. What do you expect from Salford, and what do you expect from your team?
Our response all year's been very good, and I was disappointed for the players on the last week. You know, I wasn't unhappy with or cranky about our performance, because we tried really. It was a good game of footy in terms of physicality and effort from both teams. We got frustrated, and you know, the thing is, we can take some good lessons out of that, and you know, and maybe I got out coached a bit, you know, like with their tactics, and maybe the team we hadn't done enough work on to be ready for that. So it's a good lesson for us. We'll get something out of it. And again, I've said all the way through, every 70-minute mark this year in a game of footy, we've been in it where we could have won it, and we could have won it with 5 minutes to go. So that's pleasing. But our response will be really important. And the team, you know, that we're playing against, they should be really proud of what they've done this year, as a team. You know, like they've been fighting hard. They've been in. You know, the results haven't gone their way, but like in terms of their effort and the way they've approached everything they've done, 100 miles an hour, and had a real crack. So we're expecting that sort of, you know, the 2 times we've played them, they've come after us. They've had plenty of energy. They've tried their backsides off. You know, and there's been a disjointed year for them in terms of positional changes, but I think that Salford should be, you know, as a team, should be very proud of what they've done, to stay in there and hang in there.
Is it important, with talk of potential strikes at Salford and things like that, and that's been ongoing all year? Disjointed is probably an understatement for their season so far, but is it important to try and ignore the outside noise that's coming from there?
Yeah, well, we haven't focused on that. Like I said, we're more worried about our response, but and I think our boys have got enough respect and seen what the Salford team have actually done each game, and they've come to play. So, like, we know that they're going to come with the right attitude, and they're going to try their best, and they'll be trying to, you know, put us off our game. So we're prepared for that, and we've got the respect for what they've done this season.
You said after the game last week that Jake Connor had taken a knock. How is he?
Yeah, he's fine, mate. He was a bit sore early in the week, and like all the boys were, because that was a physical game. So it took us a couple of days to get over it, but you know, we've had training today, and he's fine.
Was everybody else okay other than Mick?
Yeah, just
like you say, it was.
Yeah, Mick. But yeah, it was a physical game, and that, you know, like when you put so much into it, and that's what we did. We put so much effort into it, and we tried, and the harder we tried, the, you know, probably the more clunky we become. But in terms of the effort and the physicality, it was a high standard from both teams in that aspect.
With Thomas, that's something that he's been carrying for a while. Obviously, he was suspended last week. I was just wondering whether you took that opportunity to get something that needed doing done.
No, mate. Whether he was suspended or not last week, he had that from the game before. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just that, you know, what the good thing about it is we didn't really know about it until after the game. He just sort of said he had a sore wrist, but it happened during the game. He battled on and played through it. So that's just a credit to him and the team where they're at. You know, like they're putting their bodies on the line for each other.
What can you tell us about the other 18-year-old Brown that's in the 21? I understand he's not likely to play, but
yeah, he won't play. But again, you know, he'll play reserves beforehand, and then we'll give him the experience of doing the rest of the game day and sit there as 18th man and just have a look at the warm up and so he gets comfortable and familiar with what we're doing. He's a good young kid. He's tough, full of energy. Yeah, like he's exciting with the ball. He's a strong defender. Yeah, so you know, just trying to make sure these kids can see that there's a pathway here for them and the work that they're doing, and you know, he mightn't get an opportunity this year. Who knows? We're you know, but we've seen he just nursing an ankle injury. I thought it was a good opportunity for him to have a look.
It was good for the club to have 13 players, I think, including Presley and Brown in the Yorkshire squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate, just like I said, I think the club's in good hands moving forward, and just shows you the work and the time and that effort a lot of people have put into the pathways. And now we need to try and make sure out of that 13, with the success rate of having those guys play Super League at Leeds Rhinos is important.
Just a couple of other things. I noticed that Elliot Wallace is in Giants' squad for this weekend. Has he finished his time with Leeds now?
Yeah, mate. Unfortunately, he so didn't work out moving forward just with cap and all that sort of. But he was, he was good. He trained well for us. Yeah. So.
And Toby Warren is on loan at Salford. That's still a loan deal, isn't it? Have you been keeping an eye on how he's doing? Will you take a particularly close eye tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he's in the 21, so I don't know what their plans are for him. But I know he's played a couple of times in the centres. He's been in the back row, so it's good for his development. Being able to just that week to week, getting in the grind and that physicality and having to back up. So he's gained some valuable experience out of it, which you can't give guys, and especially young guys, from training. You can only do so much of training, and then you just got to get out there, and that's the only way you get experience.
Yeah. And sorry, just one last one for me. With 3 props, including Tom Nicholson-Watton injured, would you look at maybe bringing someone in on loan? You did sort of similar circumstances last year with SA.
Yeah, not at the minute. We want to try and show that, because sometimes, when you got a heap of, we had a lot of, we had good health and we had a lot of players available. A month ago we were talking about, and thinking, oh, it'd be nice to give Presley an opportunity. So when these opportunities come along, you probably need to back your system. And if we run out of troops, we might have to, but we've still got Ben Littlewood there, who's he's come back from recovery. He's had a couple of games now, so there might be an opportunity that presents for him. And there's some blokes in the academy squad, whether they're ready or not. But like we just want to make sure we exhaust all our avenues of what we've got here first, and then we'll see.
I think Presley Cassell will be the 15th academy player that's played for the club this season. I mean, how much responsibility do you feel as coach of this club to keep that stream of talent coming through?
Yeah, well, it's important. But like I said, mate, this is not a reflection of me. This is like, I've only been here 6 months. So this is on the club there, but club has been doing this for a long time to get these guys ready, and the program that they've got, and then now Chev's, got real hands-on role there, and he's doing a lot of good work with those kids. And it's important that we show those young guys that there is a pathway here for you. And at the moment we've got a strong squad, and it's hard for them to get an opportunity and a crack in it. But when there is a chance, well, we need to promote them, and it's a lot easier to promote them and put them in a team that's going reasonably comfortable. It allows them to sort of find their feet a bit more.
I think, at a time when the overseas quota's talking about going up to 10 next year as well, how important is it that clubs keep giving players those opportunities in that pathway and not blocking paths with maybe Australians coming over, things like that?
Yeah, well, if the competition, adds a couple more teams, I'm not sure what's happening there, but certainly Leeds' mentality is that, I want to try and keep promoting from within and the homegrown, and there is still need and avenue to bring the Australians in, because I think it helps grow the game as well, as long as you get the balance right. And I think as a club, this club's got the balance right.
Just lastly from me, I think Aka's played about 12 or 13 minutes last week. Would you expect that load to go up this week as he comes back into the first team, or is it just maybe a game-by-game thing and how things are developing on the pitch?
Yeah, Aaron, like it's you have a plan, but plans in change don't always go. They might go the way you want in the first half, but then things change, the context of the game, injuries, head knocks. So just try and have a bit of a plan to get him some more minutes, and to look after Jared. And that's why I find it hard, having 2 hookers in the team, I think, at times, because it's hard to find a role for him to get him out there. Like you got Sam Lasoni, who we use a couple of times a game, choose up 3 interchanges. So yeah, to get the balance right, but certainly try and get some more minutes for him this week.
Just quickly ask on Matt Frawley. Obviously, he's been named in Huddersfield squad again. I think that'll probably be the month after this weekend. Do you envisage that loan being extended to Huddersfield?
Yeah, I think so. Believes he's working through that, and we're happy for Fralls. He's playing well there and helping them out, so he's pretty happy there, and that's the main thing.
And I suppose for you, do you always also have to keep an eye on the situation with Jack Sinfield being out? Obviously, Matt Frawley potentially being that third choice just while Sinfield's out.
Sinny, look, it's more this week. We could have pushed him to play, but we're just thinking long term, and that extra having this week off will help him. And he'll be available for selection next week, so there's no massive concern there. He's just got a bit of a grumble in his ankle.